Last week, MRC-TV produced 2 articles and 2 videos outlining the numerous attacks against energy independence and competition that Joe Biden's administration has committed since it entered office in January of 2021. And now he's added another attack to the ever-expanding list. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC TV, and the story comes to us via the Daily Caller's John Hugh DeMastri, who reports that this time the Biden Bureau of Land Management, BLM, bandits targeted New Mexico. Quote, the Biden administration on Friday ordered a 20-year ban on new oil and gas drilling leases within 10 miles of the Chaco Culture National Historical Park in New Mexico, according to multiple reports. The moratorium, which the Department of the Interior initially began considering in November of 2021, is a long-sought goal of several local politicians, conservation groups, and Native American tribes that want to preserve the centuries-old Pueblo ruins located there, although some tribes have opposed the ban for limiting future economic opportunities, according to E&E News. Now, some Americans might applaud the executive branch here. This action might be something they like. Perhaps they enjoy natural wonders, or they buy into the unproven climate fear-mongering that mankind's use of cheap petrochemicals is going to lead to a temperature-heightened apocalypse. The move is the administration's latest toward the president's goal of conserving at least 30% of federal lands and waters by 2030, according to Reuters. The Biden administration recently blocked large swaths of Alaska from being eligible for drilling, and the Interior Department proposed rules that would allow conservation groups to lease lands for restoration purposes, similar to how oil and gas companies can lease land for drilling operations. But the beating heart of this controversy actually is fed by many historical and ethical veins. And regardless of where one stands on the relative importance of freer energy markets versus more natural wonders kept for the people by politicians through government, one has to recognize that no one can know what people actually want or what they value unless politicians get out of the way and stop making all the decisions about it. This economic and ethical truism tells everyone that valuation is subjective. It's only reflected by individual voluntary action and needs to produce a price signal that can be seen by others as they make their own judgments about supply, demand, and price. This fundamental nexus point between economics and ethics means that resources only are labeled as resources when real people reveal their value in market exchange and show that they're resources. Politicians can't tell other people what they value or how much of it they value relative to other things. As we learn these lessons, we can see that a BLM bureaucrat or an entire official government not only insults economic truth by making decisions for other people, it also destroys the very definition of value when its tax-funded agents tell other people how land or any other thing should or shouldn't be valued and used. It's quite possible that many folks might want to pay for a land area to be used for hiking, camping, or just left untouched. It's just as likely that people might want to use it for other purposes. Unless that land is held privately, where an owner can decide that people want it for this or that and then rise or fall based on how customers respond, we will never know. And of course, we do know a few other things. We do know some basic truths about things that people can actually see in American history and share with others. We can look at the U.S. Constitution, for example. The Constitution only grants the central government the so-called power to control 3 kinds of land. So regardless of how many times big government apologists might repeat the mantra of the Antiquities Act, these national parks and wildlife preserves and national monuments, as they call them, are supposed to be handled by the states. And that land, I would hope, would then be handled by private owners who would rise or fall based on what their use of the property, be it for oil or gas or for tourism, actually provided to consumers. Added to this is the fact that many so-called federally controlled lands actually used to belong to American Indian tribes, and that many living American Indians can claim family inheritance rights. And beyond the Indian tribes issue, we also can see that these huge areas, and by the way, nearly half of all the land west of the Mississippi is run by the feds. These areas often need some kind of private property ownership factor to incentivize owners to husband the land and prevent fires and erosion. Well, I think all of these factors come into play when we think about decentralization and how important it is. But these aren't considerations for the Biden gang at all. Instead, they virtue signal. They step on the U.S. Constitution and on federalism. They destroy the very ownership principle needed to produce value signals, and they continue to disregard treaties with Indians that the U.S. government long ago broke. But we who watch all of this, we can see it and we can learn. Even if we can't stop it, we can use this new example of government overreach to recall the history, the economics, and the ethics, and then pass that on to others. That education is one of the few things that we can preserve and show that we actually value. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe. Check us out at Rumble, where they don't censor us. Yes, we're back at YouTube, but we really hope that more people will stop by Rumble, subscribe, and then share the videos with friends and family members, especially students who might be interested in these sorts of subjects. Please visit us at MRCTV.org. That's MRCTV.org. See what the whole team is doing and stop by the MRC Store. Get some great material and think about donating to the Media Research Center. You'll also find us on Instagram and TikTok and in Facebook and on Twitter. And if you want to find me on Gab, I'm at Gardner Goldsmith, and on Twitter, I'm at Gard Goldsmith. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.